Hello everyone, my name is Mr. M. Today we are going to learn how to describe transformations on linear and quadratic functions. Be sure to pause your video while you're doing the intro activity. Come back once you're done to check your answer. Welcome back. So let's go and open DESMOS. Again, when you open DESMOS, be sure to log in or sign up so that you can save your work. So I already have graphed the functions. F of x is equal to x, which is the red one, and k of x is equal to negative 2x plus 5, which is the orange graph. Clear? I hope you got that right. Now let's have the first model problem. It says, describe the transformations in the graph of the function k of x is equal to negative 2x plus 5 by comparing it to the parent graph of linear functions f of x is equal to x. Again, we're going to use the DESMOS to draw the function which we did in the intro activity. Now let's take a look again on the graph. So if this is the parent graph or parent line, what is the transformation that happened on the orange graph? Now let's take a look at the equation. So it says here negative 2x. So the m is less than 0. So what do you remember from the previous lesson that we discussed? So by the way, you can check the link inside the description box of the previous lesson that is connected to this one. So if m is less than 0, or the slope is less than 0, if you remember, the parent parabola rotates clockwise, right? And also, if b is positive, so the graph or the parent graph translates what? Up. So now how do we describe the transformation? It's right here. It says f of x was rotated clockwise and translated 5 units up to become k of x. Let's prove that. Let's show an evidence if that is true. Again, we have the equations on this side and the graph. Take a look. Again, this is the parent graph. If you rotate it clockwise, it's going to be like this. And then, if you notice from here, if the y-intercept is 0, 0 on the parent graph, now it's positive 5. So it translated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. Got it? Now let's have model problem number 2. It says describe the transformation in the graph of the function p of x is equal to 2x squared minus 4x plus 5 by comparing it to the parent graph of quadratic functions f of x is equal to x squared. Again, we're going to use DESMOS. But before that, if you remember on the previous lesson, if a is greater than 1, what do you remember? If a is greater than 1, if the parabola or the parent parabola is like this, if a is greater than 1, it dilates, it becomes narrower. Let us show the evidence here. And I have that already plotted. Okay, and let's have the projector. Alright, so I graph f of x is equal to x squared, which is the parent parabola or parent graph of quadratic functions, and p of x is equal to 2x squared minus 4x plus 5. If you notice, you see this graph, the blue, is narrower than the parent graph, red. Yeah? And also, looking at the vertex here, the vertex here is 0, 0, right? Now, what happened here? Let me write this on the other side. 0, 0, that's the vertex of the parent graph. Now notice here, the vertex is positive 1, 1, 2, 3, positive 3. So what happened? This new vertex tells us how it translated. So it translated 1 unit to the right, right? Because we went to the right 1. Yeah? And then we translated from here, we translated 1, 2, 3. 3 units up. Got it? So, here's the description now. So f of x was dilated, it's narrower, and translated 1 unit right and 3 units up to become p of x. I hope you understood it. Now it's your turn to practice. Go ahead and complete this task. Be sure to pause your video, come back once you're done. So the answer is f of x was reflected over the y-axis or x-axis to become s of x. Let's take a look here. Let's clear this up. Alright guys, if you look at the graph, right, again, this is the parent graph. The parent graph is just reflected over the y-axis. Or you can say that the parent graph reflected over the x-axis. Now let's have another practice task. Go ahead and complete this. Pause your video, come back once you're done to check your answer. And the answer is, or the transformation says, f of x was dilated, or it's wider, reflected over the x-axis, and translated 2 units up to become k of x. Let's take a look. I graphed both the parent graph and the second function. So again, the red graph is the parent graph. So if you notice, it flipped, right? It reflected, okay, because of that negative sign. Now it's 0.5. What do we remember about a that is between 0 and 1? If it is 0.5, then it becomes wider. And also, take a look, again, the vertex here of the parent graph, or parent parabola is 0, 0. Now it went up there, which is 0, 2. Right? So this is, the x value is either left or right, but it's 0, so it didn't go to the left nor to the right. But it went up by 2. So again, the transformation is, it was dilated, it's wider, reflected over the x-axis, so it's flipped, before it translated 2 units up to become k of x. I hope you get that right. Thank you for watching and learning with me. Be sure to click the links below inside the description box for additional resources so that you can practice and learn more. Please take care of yourself and each other.